scaled my first store to 20K and it was a failure. Okay, so we're back in my computer now. I just made this quick little PowerPoint slide, and essentially what we're going to be talking about is, what I did to, not really what I did to build the store to 20K a month, but what I could have done to actually make it more profitable. So a $20,000 a month store was a failure. Like that's the whole point of this video, is to get you guys to wonder why. And there's more to it than just saying like, oh, there's more to profits than sales, like whatever all those people say, sales don't equal profit or whatever. That's not what this is about. What this is about is what I could have done to make this more profitable. Stuff that I didn't really know how to do back when I did it. This was the first store that I ever grew. So yeah, we're just gonna get started. So the scenario, I'm trying to set the scene so you guys can understand moving forward. The break-even point of the product was $22. That means if we sold one of this item, we would make $22 profit after product costs. Our average cost per purchase was $20. So basically right on break-even. So if people used a discount code or anything, we were losing money. The marketing spend was not an issue. So we were not worried about money, how much we can spend. It was more about what we're going to do to make it profitable, right? And of course, this is the first store for scaling. So with Facebook ads, as I was scaling, the cost per purchase was going up, which was really not good because it was already at 20. And when I say 20, I mean the average. There were some that were doing better than others, but the average was 20. It was just not good. But this wasn't even the issue. We could have still grown it to multi-six figures if we kept with it. And the main thing is because you don't need to be profitable on the front end to be profitable. I never really thought about this, but I never thought about this at the time, right? But moving forward, I've learned a lot more about back-end marketing and how to make more money from the traffic you're already getting, that I could have made this a lot more profitable if I knew what I knew now. The product was good, lots of application, and it was a viral video, so it was going pretty viral on Facebook. And to be honest, it was hard when I was writing this and making this video, because if I knew what I knew now, I could have done a lot better with that store. I could have made a lot more money. And that's just something to think about, why it's so important for you guys to be thinking about this as you're scaling your store, and don't make the same mistakes that I made. So the main issues, the main things that made it a failure was the back end, retargeting, and the average order values. These are three things that if I was implementing these three things the correct way, we would have been a lot more profitable, and we would have been making a lot more money. So the back end, one of the biggest issues was we didn't put enough focus on this. There was never a big enough emphasis, a big enough priority to put focus on this at the time, because I always thought that it was all about the front end. You just got to make money and scale the hell out of it, and you make profits. But we definitely should have been putting a lot more effort into email sequences, abandoned checkouts, upsells, all that sort of thing. We should have been doing that. Which we just weren't doing it enough. We weren't tinkering with it enough. We weren't messing with different copy inside of the emails. So there's a lot that goes into this. I'm just kind of giving the overview of the different things that we should have been focused on more. And then I'm sure each video will be, each thing I'll be breaking down on this channel a lot individually. Retargeting. A big issue that we had with retargeting was we were only retargeting page views, just people who landed on the website. We were not messing around with add to cart, retargeting people who added to their cart. We weren't retargeting people who watched the video. Many different applications with video view retargeting that I now know. We were not retargeting initiate checkouts, page engagements, post engagements. We were not retargeting any of that, only page views. That was a big factor. We could have made a ton more money if we just did more retargeting enough. And on top of all that, we were only doing page views, and we weren't really messing around with different ad creatives inside of the retargeting ads. So we would just run the same post. Like, we didn't try retargeting with a special coupon. We didn't try retargeting with a free gift. None of that. None of those different tactics we were doing. It was just very basic. And I guess it worked, but there was definitely a lot that we could have been doing that could have just been making us more money. Another thing that makes a big difference as well is retargeting different time frames. So we were just retargeting people who viewed the page in the last 180 days. We weren't retargeting people who viewed the page in the last 60 days or the last 30 days or the last 7 days. We weren't really messing with that. Even though we were driving plenty of traffic, we were driving enough traffic to start doing that. Just all around not focusing enough on retargeting, the biggest issue. With retargeting, like, we did it a little bit, but I didn't take it seriously enough to really dive into it and dedicate a lot of focus to this one thing. And I think this could have made a really big difference. So number 3, upping the average order value, actively doing things in your website and on the back end to get more money out of the people that you already have on your site. Cross-selling. We definitely could have been doing a lot of cross-selling. The product was due for it, and we just didn't. Like, this was something that we didn't do at all. It's something that I didn't even know about at the time. I wasn't really focused on it, but now I know a lot about it, and I'm really focused on it now because I know how big of a difference it makes. So we were not cross-selling, no upsells, downsells, nothing. We weren't running ads for different products. We're using the same custom audiences and the same lookalikes and all that. We weren't doing any of that. We were just sticking to this one product with that one retargeting ad with a bunch of different lookalikes and stuff. It was really basic. It wasn't bad for a first store, but in terms of profitability, it wasn't impressive at all. Like, we could have done a lot more better. And if I feel like ripping my hair out every time I think about it, because if I knew what I knew now, I could have made that store a hell of a lot more profitable. And it sucks. But yeah, so we just went over this. We did have a high cost per purchase. It was basically right on break even, but I also do know that if we had focused on these 3 things, it could have been massively profitable. Not on the front end, but on the back end. Like, we could have, my mentor always told me, I'll take a break even day over any day because you can make a bunch of money on the back end. It's basically free traffic, free purchases, right? So I already know that we could do this, but we didn't because we didn't know well enough. Now, I don't really regret not implementing this stuff because I was just starting out, and I don't really, I don't really want to go back and look at it. More what I want to do is I want you to learn from this experience because it was a massive lesson for me on, like, what do you do if it's not profitable on the front end? Because I had no idea, and we ended up stop growing the store. But, just don't make the same mistake. And I don't want anybody else to make the same mistake. And I actually made a video called 6 Things You Need to Know Before Scaling. I'm going to link it at the outro. There's going to be like a little box probably on the left side of the screen. You're going to be able to click it. I'm going to put that video right there. So make sure you watch that, because if you don't, you're most likely going to make the same mistakes that I made while scaling. And obviously I don't want you to do that. But as for this video, that's all I have for you. I'll probably be going on about this more in some future videos. Just make sure you check out the 6 things you need to know before scaling. Really solid content. It's like a webinar style. As for this video, we're done. This is Noah, and I'm out. Peace.